Foodies, wagwan. Welcome back to the channel. So today's recipe going to be the Jamaican sweet potato pudding, arguably the best pudding in the world. So let's kick off this thing with the three main ingredients. We have the coconut, we have the sweet potato, and we have some cocoa. So the first thing we're going to be doing, we're going to be weighing out our dry ingredients. We're going to be sieving out the flour, the cornmeal. We're also going to be adding in a pinch of salt and some cinnamon. We're using 1 1/4 cup of flour. We're using 1/4 cup of cornmeal. We're using the cinnamon. And then of course, you know, so you can't make pudding without the nutmeg, the Jamaican nutmeg. So we're going to grate a whole nutmeg in this. We're also going to be adding in some raisin. And the reason why we're sieving the raisin in the flour is so that the raisins can float when we bake them, because if we just add the raisins like that, they're going to be sink. So we go ahead now and grate away nutmeg, and we're going to use a generous portion right here. So combine all of this and let it sit aside. All right, so now let's work on the sweet potato. You can use any sweet potato of your choice. So we're going to peel this and we're going to clean it off. Just peel everything and set it aside. Then we're going to be working on the coconut. Now the coconut, me actually buy it for a week now and put it in the fridge so that the shell can come off easy. Because normally when I broke up the coconut, even the white piece broke up. But as you can see how easy it come off of the shell. So just buy it, leave it in the cooler for a week, and you can easily just go ahead and knock it and then just pick off the shell like this. So we're going to take it off, clean it up, and then we're going to grate the coconut. If you don't have the fresh coconut, you can also use the coconut cream, the one in the can, or the coconut powder. But for that authentic, rich, traditional flavor, I'm going to be using a fresh coconut. So make sure that this is clean. And you know, we're going to cut up this and clean it and set it aside as well. Now the hardest part of this recipe is actually breaking down these potatoes and the cocoa, because you know how difficult it is to grate that. I remember when I was growing up, I used to grate this on Sundays, and man, my finger head used to mash up. So now that we have that out of the way, we're going to be straining the coconut juice from the coconut. So I add some warm water to release some of the juice out of the coconut, and I'm going to set aside the coconut trash, and I'm going to be using it in a future recipe. So you can remember to like and subscribe to the video so you can see what I make with that. Maybe I make a toto, a gizzarda, or a rock cake. Yes, I'm going to be making a rock bun in the next video. So now we're going to be adding in the sugar. We're going to be adding in some rose water and some vanilla. We're using about a teaspoon of each. We're not using no measurement, we're just eyeballing the measurement right here. Now we're adding in the authentic Jamaican vanilla. And again, we're using a teaspoon of this vanilla. It's a Benjamin vanilla, one of the best vanillas out there so far. We're going to add this to our coconut mixture and then give it a nice stir. The next thing we're going to be adding in is about a tablespoon of melted butter. Let's combine all of this together now. Alright, I'm going to be setting aside some of the liquid. This is what we're going to be pouring on top of the pudding to make the hallelujah. So now let's combine everything. Remember, we have the potatoes grated already, so we're going to be adding this to the coconut mixture. And we're going to take our time and combine everything. And then once that is out of the way, we're going to be adding in our dry ingredients. You don't have to rush this part. Just take your time, fold in all of the ingredients. We're not in any rush. And while we're doing this, we have the oven preheat already at 365 degrees Fahrenheit. So now we're going to be adding in our dry ingredients, and we're going to fold this in. Make sure that we don't have any flour lumps here. We're just going to take our time and fold this in. As I was saying, we're going to add some of the coconut as well, some of the fresh coconut. And this is optional, by the way. You don't have to add it if you don't want. I like to have the texture of the coconut in it, and so that's why I'm adding it. So as I was saying before, we have the oven preheat, and we're going to pour this out into a grease baking tin, and we're going to be baking it for about 2 hours. And then we're going to remove the pudding from the fire, and we're going to add the hallelujah and then bake it back for another half an hour. Alright, I'm going to be setting aside some of the liquid. This is what we're going to be pouring on top of the pudding to make the hallelujah. So now let's combine everything. Remember, we have the potatoes grated already, so we're going to be adding this to the coconut mixture, and we're going to take our time and combine everything. And then once that is out of the way, we're going to be adding in our dry ingredients. You don't have to rush this part. Pudding is almost ready, so we're going to be pouring in all of the ingredients. We're not in any rush. Set this back in the oven. And while we're doing this, we have the oven preheat already at 300 and should be ready degrees Fahrenheit, guys. So now we're going to be adding in our dry ingredients, and we're going to for the rest of the week with my make sure that we don't have any flour lumps. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and fold this in. As I was saying, we're going to add some of the coconut as well, some of the fresh coconut.
So good.
This is optional, by the way. You don't have to add it if you don't want. I like to have the texture of the coconut
soft,
in it,
so sweet,
that's why
so
I'm adding
gummy.
it.
I can taste
So as I was saying before, we have the oven preheat, and we're going to pour this out into a grease baking tin, and we're going to be baking it for about 2 hours, and then we're going to remove the pudding from the fire.